All right, we're back. We're doing this video in two parts in case you're wondering why everything is cut kind of weird, because the first one ran a little bit close to the limit that we set for ourselves for how long videos are. We're trying to keep all of our videos under about 10 minutes because we know that people don't want to sit and watch through a whole shitload of stuff that we put on. So
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah. Hopefully someday you'll want to sit and listen to us talk for a long time. So this one's my video, and Michael has my question.
Okay, when I thought of this, this almost actually came to mind almost instantaneously. I had to narrow it down some. Today is May the 3rd?
Yep.
May the 3rd. And for those of you who are in the know, which if you're not, then shame on you, Avengers opens tonight. We actually are doing this video really early in the morning for us because we are on our way to a 14-hour movie marathon of Marvel movies. And so,
yes.
Yay, that's going to be fun.
Yes, it is.
So my question for you, along those lines, what are your top 5 favorite comic book characters?
Oh, golly. Question about the question.
Question about the question.
Can I include graphic novels
Yes.
in here?
Yes. Because the one that I thought of actually was from a graphic novel. This will be my bonus if you don't already say it. So yes, top 5 favorite comic book characters. Doesn't have to be hero, villain, sidekick. It can be any character from a comic book.
Okay.
And then a small explanation of why.
Oh, golly.
And we're going to pause the video because I thought for 15 minutes. He's probably going to be thinking for longer than that.
I'm going to need a little bit of time to think.
All right.
Okay. Well, we are back. I had a little bit of time to think. It surprisingly didn't take me very long because I'm a nerd. But my list of top 5 comic book characters. Here we go. Number 1, well, these really aren't in any terribly particular order. I'm going to go with Hit Girl from the Mark Millar comic graphic novel Kick-Ass, who we actually just, he was able to just watch it like last week for the first time, the movie of it.
She's awesome.
She is awesome in the movie, and in the graphic novel, she's pretty much exactly the same, but even more violent.
And all this coming from a 10-year-old girl.
Yes. I thought that she was just such an awesome character to have the idea of this little girl that swears like a sailor, is, you know, basically, oh gosh, imagine Dolph Lundgren as a little girl. I mean, just killing anything in her path. I love the idea of that, and it just cracks me up so much. Next on my list, my personal favorite character from the X-Men universe, Nightcrawler. He's always been my favorite. I think that there are X-Men that have better backstories. And no, I'm not just talking about Wolverine. Wolverine's awesome, there's no doubt. But, you know, I don't know.
Well, when you got a guy like Hugh Jackman playing him, of course they're going to make like 17 movies based on him alone because he makes money. I mean, he makes box office, but it's not always about.
It's not always about him. Gambit had a great backstory, but Nightcrawler was always my favorite. And I think one of the big reasons for that is, out of all the X-Men in the X-Men universe, he's the only one that you could really see that he almost wasn't even human at all. I mean, you knew that he was, but he was almost like a demon. Just that he happened to fight for the side of good. You know, he had an amazing ability. He had a great look about him. I love the idea of the whole Blue Devil, even even had the tail and everything. I loved that. I thought he was awesome. Um, Next on my list, to go a little bit outside the box of actual heroes, Happy Hogan from the Iron Man comic books. For those of you that don't know, Happy Hogan is Tony Stark's limo driver. He's also a world-class trained boxer, and he's kind of Tony's assistant in a lot of ways. Not in the same way that Pepper Potts is, but just kind of there. But he's got a really great story. In the comic books, they do a lot more with him than they did in the movies, although I thought Jon Favreau did great as the character in the movies. But I like the fact that he's this world-class trained boxer, but he's stuck driving Tony Stark around in a limo. Next on my list would be from V for Vendetta. One of the coolest graphic novels that I've ever read, probably my absolute favorite. I love the character. He's poetic and he's violent, but not in a sense of overkill. It's like every time he has to exude violence and has to actually be violent towards somebody, it's almost like he feels bad about it. But the entire idea of the graphic novel was he's coming at it as purely a sense of revenge, but revenge more in the sense of justice than just, I'm mad at you. He creates this entire plot to destroy Parliament, all because they locked him in a mental institution and did experiments on him. Now that I think about it, that'd probably piss me off pretty bad too. But he does it in such a poetic way. I mean, he ends up blowing up Parliament using an old train and explosives. It's beautiful. I mean, truly beautiful. And in the movie, it's probably the best scene that I've ever had, and part of it was in the comic book. It was in the graphic novel too. But it was just it was a lot easier to convey on screen. He has like a 5-minute speech and soliloquy where at least 75% of the words that he used in this speech start with the letter V, which is amazing.
Because there's not many of that words that start with V.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. And my last one on my list, probably one of the coolest characters in comic book and graphic novels in general, Rorschach from Watchmen. This is a guy whose mask is a Rorschach test, is a Rorschach ink blot test. The mask itself shifts and changes. And one of the reasons why I love this character is he's not a big guy. He's this short little guy, but he just does not care. He doesn't care about anything at all. He is just out to hurt people. I mean, he's that guy that if you get into a fight with him, he's not going to stop until you're dead. And you're not going to be able to kill him. He doesn't really have any superpowers per se, besides being incredibly pissed off all the time. But he just has I loved his character for the sense of innate calmness that he has, even while he's doing these horribly violent things to people. He's just so calm and so collected, and then all of a sudden he snaps and he's beating your head in with a pipe. And I love it. I thought his character was incredibly funny. Even though he was, this incredibly violent person, I thought he was hilarious. So, that is my list, and yeah, I ended up picking 3 of them from graphic novels. I am more of a graphic novel and manga fan than actual comic books, but there you go. To do a recap, Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, Nightcrawler from X-Men, Happy Hogan from the Iron Man series, V from V for Vendetta and Rorschach from Watchmen.
And my bonus entry into this, what I was thinking of was, now I've never read the graphic novel, but I've only seen the movie, and my choice would be Eric Draven from The Crow.
I had a feeling that that was going to be yours. I considered putting them on there, but
But you have to understand, I'm not a real big comic book fan. I haven't read comic books. I haven't read any graphic novels. So my comic book knowledge comes from movies, which I know is probably going to get me ostracized at the movie marathon today. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But I guess I'm putting it out on the internet now, so everybody's going to know about it. But yeah, I loved Eric for the fact that, you know, I mean, he was an innocent, and just the whole idea of being brought back from the dead by a crow and turning into a vigilante killer is he has no superpowers except for the fact that, you know, he can't die. So, but yeah, that's my thing. And
very good choice. And like I said, I really did consider it. I really did consider using him, but I had a feeling that he was going to be yours, so I was going to let you go with it.
So yeah, that's this week's video. If you have any ideas for next week's video, if you like seeing these surprise top fives, or you have a top five that you'd like to see what our opinion on is, let us know. Subscribe if you like us. Give us a comment, or comment on Facebook. Either way, we will be posting these to our separate Facebook accounts.
Yep.